Welcome back to Channel C1. I'm Michael Jamal.
This is Cam King.
And this is our review of Barbie.
We went inside a little double take Barbie Oppenheimer today. Did some Barbenheimer. Stay tuned to the end of the video to check out our which film we thought was the better film.
The better film.
It may seem like an obvious choice, but hey, you never know.
You never know.
With that being said, we went in with Barbie with pretty decent expectations. The trailer, when we saw the trailer, if you haven't seen that, we have our reaction to that. We were actually surprised by that. We didn't know what to expect from a Barbie movie. All right, we don't necessarily care about Barbie dolls.
Right, yeah.
We just, it's not, but it was very entertaining. And we only watched, I think, one of the trailers.
And we had seen a teaser trailer in theaters one time.
In one theaters one time. So for the most part, we like to stay away from a lot of promotional marketing material because we don't like all of the storylines and stuff getting kind of spoiled or hinted at.
We want to have a better.
We just want to. Okay, this is what the movie's about. Cool. All right, we'll go see it.
We get the gist.
I think we went in with some pretty decent expectations with it, and I would say for the most part, it landed it pretty solid.
It's definitely a comedy, of course. It has a lot of comedy in there, and although I wouldn't say everything was the funniest thing ever, there wasn't anything that I felt was unfunny, and even if it wasn't necessarily funny, it was still entertaining. There were some crazy moments that didn't have me on the floor laughing.
Also spoilers.
But there was a consistent like throughout the movie that it stayed at a nice level.
Good, solid humor.
I would say the best joke is at the end of the movie because you think she's going for a job interview, but she's actually going to see her gynecologist, and it's set up very well.
The movie had great undertones with it and great theme. It had some of that woke culture without being woke.
Well, I think the nature of the Barbie characters and how Barbie speaks very literal and says everything completely and truly how she's exactly thinking it lends itself better to that type of messaging. Like her saying certain things feel more natural coming out of Barbie's mouth because she's not human, if that makes sense. Sometimes certain, messages and platitudes, etc., feel weird because no one talks like that. No one would just say, I believe in so. Like, that's not how people normally talk, do their day-to-day conversation. But everything felt natural, and you can tell they were playing off the humor of it. They intertwined the messaging with the humor of the story, and it was kind of in a sarcastic, ironic way in some points, but it never felt, I want to say, too preachy. They still prioritized the story over the message, in my opinion.
They also gave some counterpoints to the message too.
It was balanced.
It was a little balanced.
Yeah. So Ken ended up being kind of the villain of the film, but they didn't just leave him out to dry. They showed basically how the world was run by women in Barbie world. The men, of course, are like, damn, this kind of sucks for us. We're treated like we're dismissed. We're not paid attention to. No one really respects us. So then they flip it, and they're like, damn, we got horses, we got brewski beers, bride wives, Mojo Dojo Casa House. This is nice. So, and the women are like, wait a minute. Now we're the ones being this, so they take the world back, but there's compromise. It's not just, we want it exactly how it was before where we're in control. It's like, okay, now we see things from your perspective. Yeah,
they could have easily kept men as the villain and made men the villain, but
then sent them off and put them in a jail or something. But they were like, no, we get your plight.
Okay, we weren't necessarily the best for you. You weren't the best to us. So let's kind of meet in the middle.
Let's meet in the middle. Compromise. You don't have to be devoted to me. You can be your own person. The beach off stuff was still pretty funny when they kept saying the joke about the beaching off. The only thing is we saw that in the trailer.
Yeah, but you know what? They left a little bit of it out.
They left a little bit.
So there was a little bit of extra dialogue
in there.
You can't
even beat yourself off.
That got me interested.
Yeah.
The only gripe I really have about the movie is the pacing was fine throughout for the most part. It was towards the end. While the ending did land for me, it was a little wobbly. Oh, we gotta tie up this end. 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 Like they all came together, but just didn't.
It wasn't as smooth
as it could have been.
Yeah, there were some points that felt a little bit transactional.
Yeah, they kind of okay, we covered that. Move on. Maybe if we had a couple moments to breathe in some of those.
I will say there were certain things that will require you to kind of know more about Barbie and Mattel in general for you to catch, but it doesn't leave people who don't know about that stuff out to dry. They're like Easter eggs about the creator of Barbie and certain runs of Barbie that didn't last long, as far as Midge, the pregnant Barbie, and Alan, who was Ken's friend. But they give enough to where you still understand. There's somebody named, I guess, Slipper, who was like a babysitting Barbie, and then there was another one who's a Barbie that grows up. So two Barbies come and her breasts grow, which you press a button. And there was a joke that if we were reacting to this movie, I definitely probably would have made. It's kind of distasteful. However, there's a Barbie with the TV on her back, and it was like, what use would that be for her? And I was like, that would be a good use if you know, have sex with a girl and she has a TV on her back. You could watch TV and hit it from the back. I just thought that would be pretty convenient if you're thinking of a quote unquote use for that specific thing. Alan, who's played by Michael Cera, was pretty funny. He's kind of odd, but then he had a nice little fight scene. They had a funny dance scene with all the
They did.
all the kins. Ryan Gosling was pretty funny in his role. Some of the lines they had him say were just pretty well delivered and well written. The reasoning behind why Barbie was acting crazy or like being different was pretty interesting, well explained, with the mom of the daughter started playing with the Barbie and like imposing her life onto.
The mom-daughter connection worked. For a second, I was afraid that it was just going to get kind of shoved to the side.
Kate McKinnon as Weird Barbie was hilarious.
That was hilarious. And Ryan Gosling surprised me. I wasn't sure if I was gonna enjoy Ryan Gosling in this comedy role. I'm not the biggest fan of Ryan Gosling myself.
I've never seen a Ryan Gosling,
but I have. He did pretty well. I enjoyed it. He executed that pretty well.
Oh, Simu Liu, Shang-Chi as Ken, the other Ken, was pretty funny. Had a few funny scenes. Gravik from Secret Invasion, if you've been watching that. I think his name's Kingsley Benadir. He's playing a Ken in this movie, and he's so smiley and happy.
Complete opposite
it was
of the role.
so weird to
It
watch.
just gives his
acting
flexibility
ability
there.
Yeah, he's just completely different from. And Will Ferrell's in this movie. I don't know if any of y'all knew that.
I would say I'd probably give the movie a solid 7.5.
7.5 to 8, yeah. I feel like that's fair. It's a comedy movie. It was funny for most of the movie. Also had some heart to it towards the end, to where I guess him and the other person we went with didn't care, but I was tearing up a little bit.
I felt I just didn't tear up.
I teared up a little bit towards the end, especially because I had already watched the music video for the song that played with Billie Eilish. So I kind of got already the messaging that they were trying to communicate right there. So the relationship she had with the creator of Barbie was pretty. And finding out that the creator of Barbie named Barbie after her own daughter was pretty interesting.
That was touching. Yeah.
It's kind of touching. It got me a little bit. But it ended right before I would have started like actually crying. But yeah, it's got some heart to it. Got a lot of humor.
Definitely suggest going to see it if you can. Honestly.
Yeah, it's definitely an event level theatrical type of movie. It warrants the theater, I believe. In the same way that other movie we saw warranted the theater. Which one was better, Oppenheimer or Barbie?
Barbie was actually a pretty great experience and definitely enjoyable.
Yeah.
There was a couple of moments I felt a little dozy. Oppenheimer was just too intense. It kind of overrules for me. Obviously, this is apples to oranges as far as which necessarily a better movie because there are different types of movies.
There are different types of movies.
But I would say the experience for Oppenheimer was more enjoyable for me. It was just so fascinating, especially going in not knowing a ton.
I can recognize that one movie is the better story, the better told, like better directed, better, quote unquote movie. It's more quality. It executes on its premise better. But I enjoyed another movie more. In this situation, the movie I thought was better, Oppenheimer, is also the movie I enjoyed watching more. Because sometimes great movies, I can see the quality, but sometimes they can be a little bit boring. But Oppenheimer, despite its subject matter taking place in a lot of boardrooms, meetings, it was never boring.
Please go check out the rest of our review for that one if you want to see some more of the details of what we thought. We definitely heavily suggest seeing both movies. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, check out our Patreon, all that good stuff. We're going to see you around.
We will.